Oh boy, it's Mr. Tsuki. Naomi wasn't around. I mean, I would like to point out that there is a sort of a plot point. I think it was just during lunch breaks, though. Like in the demo section, aka the weird, secluded bit of Wani. What's her name? Liz isn't around because she has duties. I don't think that ever gets, like, recalled ever again, or if it's during classes, or if it's just lunch break. You know, that might be where Naomi is. Stella gives you a note about Wednesday. Didn't we already do a beautification? Oh yeah, Anna was pretty good at gardening, right? You know, just another skill that he's apparently pretty good at. I like to imagine that he was always just good at things. He just never put his fucking mind to it. He's kind of bleh around. Spears organizing beautification. But Anon likes doing it. That's all we did. I don't know why this is a scene at all. Again, in write, like, here's the thing, right? The reason you write a story, when all you have is the written word, there are a few things you want to approach. You want to approach the imagination of your reader. You want to give them something to think about. You want to fill their head with images. But it's also a lot about the plots, the themes, and the character, because that's all you have, realistically speaking. So, from that perspective, this scene is just this really awkward back and forth, and that's it. What emotional beats? What plot has been progressed? What characters? Couldn't this have been a 2-sentence summary of, like, Naomi wasn't there, but Stella did invite me over? You know, something simple like that. Hell, you could do more with it. You could actually, like, it doesn't hone in on anything. We don't get Anon. We get observer camera Anon. And it's so lame. Give me something, buddy. Ham it up. Popo Prose beats the hell out of There's Nothing any day of the week. Because, you know, I'd rather have something be garishly saturated than blank. Blank. Students file out once the class is over. Of course he goes to an anime torrent website. I'm surprised he knows how to torrent. Given that every character in this is otherwise perceived as a bit old-fashioned, given that Mr. Koldusky still reads fucking Playboy. Even though at his age in 2020, he would almost certainly know how to use the internet. So, she gives you a note, but shows up to ask you anyway. What was the point of the note? You have a gardening club. This is so weird. Like, didn't it go well on the first visit? This is such a weird interaction. Is it supposed to show that Stella is very awkward? Because we already have Nasser to be the awkward doesn't get the message guy. Kind of wiggle wiggle. Like a snake. Olivia could hyper drifto. This implies that your water is extremely... I don't know how to tell you, buddy, but, like, most pools are not murky. I've seen a bunch of people swim in it. Never... Like, yes, you can't make out their form, but that's usually because they're splishing and splashing all over the place. I imagine if she's just swerving around like that. Oh, the baptism. Oh my god, he had to be there to remind him that she can actually swim. Since campus beautification is the alternative for detention. So, like, I hope this guy's aware enough that, like, what you're really implying here is that because no one wants to sign up for gardening club to maintain the school passively, Spears is just using, you know, he's using prison labor. Just acknowledge that that's kind of what you're saying here. But of course, the author has no self-awareness. He's Nasser. He's oblivious. And I'm done being nice. I would be not... Like, this is why I... Okay, listen. I've mentioned before that, like, this is too long. This story is too fucking long. It says too little with too many words. And this is why a lot of people will tell you, if you want to learn how to draw or write, you write a lot. You draw a lot. Because if you commit to a big project and it's hot dog shit, you're done faster. And you can move on and write something that's not hot dog shit. And it improves. And you can see that measurable improvement. And you have something to reflect upon. And you have a reason to reflect because you're done. And that's why you want to iterate. And you don't just want to write the first thing that comes to mind as your big magnum opus because it's going to suck ass. And the process is going to hurt like hell. And you'll never be done because you don't know where you're at because you're not finishing things. It's a dangerous road to take. Why, oh why, is this how this works? Drawn Oriental styles. Oh boy. I'd like to point out that the word Oriental is not really appropriate, because Oriental refers to the greater Oriental area, A, and B, she's specifically talking about, you know, manga. It's really a weird way to phrase the question. And then we go to calligraphy, and then we go to manga. What a side-by-side conversation. I appreciate that we are recalling that she doesn't only know like 2 words. Again, this is like what writing is about, right? The reason I think this is cute is because writing as a whole, it's about plot, characters, theme. It is about those things intertwining over time and forming this fun web that congeals into your head in terms of shapes of people's designs, in terms of their personalities, their interactions, their history. That's what writing is fabricating that, putting it in little jigsaw pieces, and then leaving a trail of them in front of the people reading. But this doesn't do that. It's just a lot of words, like it's a reporter reporting on an event, with none of the connective tissue to make it exciting, to give it some of that flair, that swoosh. Naomi was still absent. Oh no, it's still the same class. We haven't actually moved on. Had Naomi come to class at all? He didn't even know. Literally who? I mean, there is a bonus chapter where it's specifically called out that that the accent is fake. I like how, yeah, Naomi is like the one person who seems to care at that point. This feels a bit forced, though, given the situation we're dealing with. Again, you can tell one thing, is when you italicize text and you don't italicize, like, it forces spaces. I don't know if that's just a markup. I still haven't looked. I need to look that up and see what it does, how it works. Safi, figure it out. Shaking my head, you know, the Naomi. Naomi-chan switched classes. You can switch classes? Wasn't the entire point that you had the same classes for 2 years in a row? I think the big problem with this is, like, isn't English like a mandatory class though? And wouldn't there be like one teacher for it? Like, where did she go to? I don't know. It's not really important, but isn't this a good thing, Anon? If she's out of the fucking picture, then Fang won't, you know, do half the stuff she did. Come on. This is a good thing. Like, sure, you can feel bad for her, but remember that she did some awful stuff to get there. I like how Stella's giving you shit for this. And to find that she switched classes. No, she also had, telescopic ears. They just go around nowadays. The Hermit reversed. Hold on, I got my deck around here somewhere. You know the rules. If someone invokes the fucking tarot, I have opinions. Let's take out the booklet. But first, let's find the Hermit card. Which means going through my whole deck. We got the Hermit upside down. We have Justice, the King of Wands, blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Where's the Hermit? That staves Ace of Wands. The High Priestess. The Hermit, found him. Yahaha! I found him! So, the Hermit is just a guy standing with a lantern. and his staff, he looks solemn, perhaps on some sort of mountain peak. He is indeed isolated, but he's also a light for others. An old man, wise of the ages, but standing strong with staff in hand, making the best of what he can. Let's see what the booklet has to say. He's number 9. Prudence, also especially treason, dissimulation, corruption, or roguery. What? The reverse is concealment, disguise, policy, fear, and unreasoned caution. Really? I mean, I can see unreasoned caution. But, like, the card doesn't say any of that. He looks pretty solemn to me. I'd sooner say that the card represents more, like wisdom, enlightenment, relying on someone who seems isolated but can be a source of wisdom if you can find him. Having to go to a difficult place to find that knowledge. The inverse can be being misguided by something. Letting yourself be led along by the nose, that kind of stuff. Like, I would like to point out that neither of the things I wrote are related to this at all. Like, neither the card, like, this is just literalism. Maybe it's on Wikipedia. If it's not on Wikipedia, I'm sorry to tell you, buddy, but you fucked up. According to Eden Gray, the lamp is the lamp of truth used to guide the unknowing. His patriarch's staff lets him navigate narrow paths he seeks to enlighten, and his clone is a form of discretion. Yeah, that's what I mean. Oh, he is standing on a mountain range. So, yeah, like, this has nothing to do with being isolated at all. This has to do with wisdom and guidance and openness. I'm sorry, but I will always. Also, sitting alone in a cave, you're missing the fucking lantern of truth. That's like half the fucking point of the picture. That he's an old man being smart. I don't know what to tell you, man. What card would you have to draw for loneliness to be the one? Let's take a look at the Major Arcana and see which card embodies loneliness. I got time, you got time. You wouldn't be here otherwise, right? Maybe I'm not reading this right, but it doesn't feel like any of these are really about loneliness. Also, they're just drawing the Major Arcana, and I fucking hate that. I hate that so fucking much, man. I think the reason that's the case is... Which one is it again? Is it Cups, or is it... No, Staves is practical works. Pentacles is money, but also sometimes familial matters. Hold on. I know that Swords is about smarts. Jesus fucking Christ, I'm using Control F. Fuck off. Swords deal with intellect and reason. Conflict and strife. Swords and brains are double-edged. Cups are emotions and relationships. Pentacles are material and family matters. So yes, Pentacles and Cups can both apply in this context. And Staves are like projects, passion, all that stuff. So it'll probably be one of the lower ones, because those are usually at the beginning. Or somewhere in the middle, because that's usually where the turnaround happens. The Two of Cups is false love. That might be one you could use. Maybe Pentacles then. The Pentacles. Enforced gaiety from the Two of Pentacles. Pentacles. Mediocrity in work. They seem to specifically call out just, being a lonely-ass bastard. Maybe that's why he fucking gave up. Although he is just invoking the Major Arcana, which again is lame! This is about a personal journey, so you can use the Minor Arcana. They're, if anything, meant for that. They're about the journey and where you are in that journey. Yabingus. Oh, I'm so mad! We're about to loop the song because we hear the birds. What could I do to stop her? Also, it's kind of funny that... Oh no, she divined her fate. You know, that's kind of rude that you can just read someone else's fortune like that. I always felt that, like, the part of this was that the person you were reading was around and gave a shit, because otherwise, you get a bad reading, because you're just kind of enforcing your will upon them. Is how I imagine the mythology is supposed to work. You can't just read someone else's future. That's rude. Oh, even Chris Lestrade got that right. But I know. The reading is about you and what you're looking for. Did Naomi come to school? She switched classes. Nothing to worry about. Yeah, she switched. I think it's worth pointing out, right? Saturday, Sunday, this happened, and she's already switched classes. This happened this morning. 15 seconds before Fernsworth. I mean, he's been kind of aloof, but this is... It's so mean with characters, right? It treats characters very poorly. Like, no one is themselves, outside of maybe Reed and Trish, but they're not around all that much. Like, anyone that has a prolonged presence in this story is just getting slaughtered. They are, but dried sticks for the furnace. I like how you were listening in and you're like, no, I shouldn't do this. Fang was, having a moment. Hush, frantic whispers. Fang is blushing. I'd like to point out that if you are just listening to this, I'm going through so many sentences that are just, they're completely irrelevant and just not selling me on anything. There's nothing here. It's like I'm throwing a bunch of fries on the table, hoping that the Happy Meal surprise is in there somewhere. It must have been my man. It says the man with the fucking special ears. And the special eyes. What did Sage say to them? Oh no, shouldn't tell them. And they left. Oh no, Fernsworth is stupid. Oh no. So, I'm gonna go on a limb and say that Trish told Sage to say something, because that's usually how this fucking goes. Trish was giving the dessert during math. I mean, I want to point this out, right? Because Promise of a Lifetime has some issues with actually selling the sparks of the relationship, because it's very pragmatic with its writing. It's very afraid for characters to actually feel love in that hushy-gushy way. But it does properly approach, like, what would happen to Trish if Fang was willing to stand up for Anon in, like, a legitimate and harsh way? Like, no, that's my boyfriend, shut up. Like, I kind of like that. It's what gives Promise of a Lifetime a little bit more edge, where otherwise it's a bit flat. And I know that they're going to do the whole Bollard thing again, but it has a very different context now, because Fang is already there before the scene happens, right? She's already gotten that loving streak. And if anything, she'll just tear Trish's head off and shoot her with a gun, and that's the school shooting scene now, which admittedly I'm all for. Because remember, Naomi didn't do anything, technically speaking. She's not organizing shit. This is just Anon would have already done this anyway. Which, I like that fundamental twist. It's interesting, and it goes with it, and I hope they don't fucking make it Naomi anyway, because that's just weird at this point. Paldusky, I like how he just fucked off. Even in the original story, he at least gave enough of a shit to have someone do something, but hey. It's week 2, right? Week 2, 3? Pausing for a moment. I let out a... Because what else do these people do? There's a reason I stopped reading this, because you can fill in the blanks. You know what the sentences look like. You know what this guy writes. It's a technical free period. I still think that writing it as technically free period works a little better. Also, you already said this about Mr. Jingles. It's really just weird. So you're just gonna... Oh, you want to talk to Trish. I thought they were like, want to talk about Trish? That'd be weird. Why do you have to ask her for permission? Oh, yeah, because you're probably doing assignments together. It'd be better you said... I like how Olivia's like, hey, buddy, you're gonna have to do your homework anyway. Whatever the teacher's here or not. I like how you're made to be so fucking lame. Like, Olivia in Wani is not that kind of lame. What did you do to them? Oh no. I keep getting the stories mixed up because they're so approximately close. Because in one, Anon and Fang are like friends since childhood, and here it's like Anon grew up already knowing Fang and wanting to be interested. You know, very different. Fang isn't telling her! Oh, it's some drama. I bet it'll get resolved by the end of this chapter or the next one, because why wait? Fang seemed distracted. Yeah. Ever since I found you talking, Fang's been acting different. Yeah, that's fair. Because it was kind of a conversation where Fang was confronted with themselves, in a way. Nobody expected him to see Vision Obscura by an open magazine. Oh, hey, it's Mrs. Roberts. Mrs. Roberts shows up, has a clipboard, looking into the class, continuing on the hallway, writing in it. Mrs. Roberts. I know that Mrs. Roberts, by a lot of people who play Snoot game, apparently interpreted as a librarian. I thought that was just one mod, but I've been told that it might be more. Like, it's one of her standard de facto fallbacks, similar to, like, what Sage has. Because you can't just copy the character wholesale. Apparently, she's also an English teacher. There's the shared English. Well, you know, she's doing the fire drills. She's making sure that the fire exits are available. Frick all this guy. You know, this is a cute moment. Too bad we're not going to do anything with it. But it is a cute moment. That's something, I guess. Guy was a pro in procrastinating. He did. You know, that's a good sentence. I bet you stole it from somewhere, knowing you. Lunch finally arrived, and Anon is hungry because it's such a weird thing how these characters are so heavily defined by how hungry they are. How much their satiation defines them. It's Rosa. Hola, Anon. He's coming Wednesday. For detention. I like how they asked again. Stella said she didn't get a sure answer, and then Stella realizes... Jesus. Oh, like, this feels so mean. Everyone is so mean. Like, there's this angry, spiteful angle that's slowly building up about everything. Like, this cynicism. I'm honestly under the impression that this whole thing is just a giant-ass troll, because it reads like one, in how unwilling it is to negotiate itself. Would explain the popularity. Who doesn't like a good troll? But you know, that's why My Immortal worked so well, is that it was overt. You were in on the joke, and you didn't have to guess. And like, Goodbye Volcano High people aren't going to notice this. They don't care. You're not going to hit the audience you're aiming for. You're just going to hit people who already like Snoot game, which is a weird audience to go for. But who knows, you know, maybe it's one of those internal things I don't know much about. The wars. The Twelve Woes. Oh boy, there's two bulls. Like, the problem I have with this, right, is it takes an element that's kind of this cute side drop, this backdrop, and makes it everything. It hyperfixates and it extrapolates to the extreme. I don't like that. It feels disingenuous. It feels farcical. Like, everyone complains about how Naomi has a fake smile, but, like, this is the fakery that Naomi is made of. This is the sinew of Naomi's cheeks. Oh shit, there's Fang. Oh, doesn't this end with, like, Naomi and Fang having a big shootout? Oh boy. I like how, okay, so Anna's trying to give Fang Dino Nuggies. Trish is like, don't do it. Fang agreed. Fang, no! murmured fall. Oh, she said fuck off without enthusiasm. You know you got yourself a true love when she can't even say fuck off to your face. That's true love right there. Like a tweaker that missed their fix. When is the last time you've even seen a tweaker, my man? It's been like decades, probably. Oh yeah, because she can't get her nuggies. I forgot Fang is supposed to be a pushover. I'm so used to a promise of a lifetime where she has remarkable degrees of spine. That being said, I am really upset with how Promise of a Lifetime handles Fang's gender situation. In that it seems so self-conscious that I'm like, okay, what are you really doing here, right? Maybe that's part of the fun, because I trust that this guy will actually get to that point and will try to work on it and do something with it. Instead of it just being, oh, I guess this will never get resolved because this guy doesn't fucking write stories. You know what I mean, right? I have confidence that the artist will go someplace. It's been a week. You should really be expecting this by now. Small takeaway box. They have that? I didn't know. God damn. An extremely cringe memory just emerged into my brain, and I'm sorry. Need a minute. Hot damn. Hot ziggity. You have no idea how bad this feels. Whoa! Jesus, just assaulting this man with a sandwich. And on top of being a boxer and a great athlete in general, can also throw fast balls. I guess baseball's on the table. I never took Volcano High as being a place to have a baseball court, though. I always felt like it didn't have the space for it, since I always got the impression it was kind of close to town. Duck confit. Oh boy, it's a picture she drew, and it's not weirdly extrapolated upon. Took so many tries to get your head straight. Yep. No! The way you study your drawing is you draw... There's a couple of ways to do it. One is to just get really good. Another is to take small... Is to use sketches as a backdrop, as like the baseline, and trace over the sketch to give yourself a guideline, and refine the sketch using an eraser so that you can narrow it down. Another is you can draw really small, short strokes. Way easier to get small, short strokes, and also way easier to correct them, since they're small, short strokes. That feels weird. I never took Olivia as the one that kind of just let people doodle on everything else. It's all in good fun. I always got the impression that Olivia in Wani was more trying to always try something, grow. It wasn't for fun. Maybe it was, but a lot of it is a professional interest in the art. But maybe that's me, because I have professional interest in the concept of art, and therefore I project my opinions onto Olivia. That's possible. That's part of writing, baby! That's... Listen. If you draw with a pencil, and especially if you're sketching, you don't use your fucking arm! I use a tablet, right, and I barely use my forearm for anything, let alone my elbow. It is all just like... And you can do that. You can work like that. Like I said, short strokes. If you're dealing with sketches, you're kind of trying to capture rough shapes and ideas. You don't have to be precise about it. You kind of pick it up as you go along, and you kind of feel things along. This feels more like Olivia needs an excuse to touch him. Of course, I would like to point out, by the way, 3 of our main cast are defined by being extremely strong. You can include Trish to an extent if you want to. You can include Warden and Jeremy also if you want to. I imagine Anon's dad. There's also Principal Spears. A huge amount of characters are defined by being Chads. Which, again, is what kind of dilutes this story in a way. Because the more characters share the same tropes within a given character set, the less they feel distinct. Unless they're in a group together. That's why Jeremy and Anon worked, is they are in the same group, they share a lot of the same physical skill set as a result, but you can then define them by the things that they don't share. It's also how to make a good ensemble function. You give them something that gives them chemistry, and they give them something outside of that that's contrasting to it, you know. Anyway, they think it's very cute. He's very stiff because he has an erection. He has a penis, my lady. I'm pretty sure the sex counts as part of the date. Jesus Christ, Olivia, just give him a hand job. This is so mean. Dating at the end of this week anyway. You mean you'll have a date at the end of the week? Is Anon gonna get a girlfriend in a week just so he can attend the date? Just give Olivia a fucking POV moment, man. Come on. I know it's a little late to really do POV swaps. We're like 20 chapters in, but you know what I mean, right? You can only stand to gain from making the change. There are only benefits down this path. So on a different side. Let's try school team 2. You know, again, I've pointed this out before, and I'll point that out again. I really do think that Wani Gator has a very different and distinct flavor of music it tries to use a lot of the time. Like, especially the composed pieces fall into this modern-esque, you know... I don't know, I just want to call it aesthetic. Just aesthetic. That's all it is. Modern aesthetic. Modern kids, modern place. Again, I forgot, Anon's skill set also include being the coolest guy in school who also wanted dodgeball. I forgot his dodgeball athleticism. Oh boy. I'm gonna turn off the screen. I'm not gonna tell you what he said. Remember what I said. Motherfucker's not beating the allegations. What an alligator. I would like to point out, and this is kind of an interesting topic that I think more stories could integrate, as just, they could be one-offs. It's just, I feel that there needs to be more of a normalization of exploring your sexuality. Because I think that mindset started when Aaron Hansen brought up, like, the D Club, where they were just straight dudes showing off dicks, and I was like, you know, I think that kind of maturity and solidity and confidence in your sexuality is something you should find. Not every story has to be about how a straight guy turns gay, or, you know, was always gay, I guess, depending on... Point is, I think there should be more stories where a guy considers and, like, observes and goes, you know, that's a guy that I think's hot. Would I date him? Would I fuck him? Nah, that's a little much. I just think he's hot. You know? Because I personally think that no one is that straight. There's always a way to skirt the line and get him to agree on the other side, you know? And I think that's cute. This shouldn't be part of everything. Let's be clear. I don't want this in everything. I just think it'd be cute as like an experimentation. Unfortunately, Olivia goes all goofy. Not trapped in the closet. I mean, admittedly, Anna will be a good character for that, considering what 4chan's up to and what Anna represents. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Trying to find their place in the world. No, you're supposed to find your place in the world in freshman and sophomore year, and then you're supposed to find your place in the world in college. Like senior and junior year, you're locked in, baby. Oh no, we'll just finish it up. We'll just finish it up. It's music class. Like, I have a lot of ideas in my head, and I really do kind of want to write Anon having a gay experience, just for the fun of it, and just going, nah. Maybe the other guy goes, nah, too, you know, like the D Club. Just the idea. Apparently women do it all the fucking time. Men are just cowards. They're losers. They're weak. They have no confidence in themselves and their abilities. They're too terrified of being what they are. Loser! Get out of here. I don't want you here. You are not interested in the art, in the self, in exploration, reflection, in the concept of digging so deep that an eldritch truth comes forward. That you want to suck a dick. The most eldritch truths. Cthulhu can fuck off. Man has too many tentacles to suck a dick. Can't just, you're too small. It's too small for him. There are no penises that size, I'm sorry to tell you. She was my first girlfriend. Oh, you're already planning to swap? Jesus. Interesting. He doesn't feel it as strongly. Passage of time. I mean, like, if your girlfriend was like 2 decades ago and the last memory you have of her shooting up the school, I imagine that would dampen your interest a little bit. Oh no, it was fake. I wasn't doing it for that. I was doing it to stop her. I was nobody. Jeez, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? Maybe you are gay. Go kiss Nasser already. I mean, admittedly, if this was a better written story, this would be like a big, like 3 paragraphs, half a page of like Anon going about this and then going, I need to snap out of this. You know, like an actual dark moment that overtakes your mind and you must fight to dispel it. Instead of just, I'm so sad. Actually, I'm not sad anymore. Reed was talking to Mr. Jingo. Reed is dealing with his teacher. Sorry to tell you, buddy, but that's a dangerous path to walk. It's called Hallowed Halls, the song, by the way. Let's take a Screen Spectre or want to know that. I don't know if I like how bassy this is. I guess it fits the Spectre theme. I like a bit more, you know, melody over harmony. Not something to draw near. Just doing some dealing. I like how Reed is just so overt. I mean, to be honest, Anon did save Reed from a person that he dealt with, so it's like on the table, dealt with. I don't know, that sounds weird. But is he Gavlan? Does he Gavlan wheels for a Gavlan deal? They took some precautions this time around. Got such a semi-public place to stay up, and they're all diners I can trust. I like how we're following this up, even though we did nothing else with this, and I don't give a shit. Because it was just a moment for Anon to kick ass and look extra cool. He can't just box in a professional setting, he can also fight in real life. Wow! On top of being good at dodgeball, on top of being good at baseball, on top of being good at actually lifting people and throwing them and carrying them and otherwise, on top of being good at cooking, on top of being good at guitar, on top of being good at gardening, he's a fucking Mary Sue. I don't want to hear it. I don't care. I don't care. He's a Jerry Sue. He is. There are no excuses. It's gone too far. There's no contrast. There's nothing that drags him down enough to compensate for this. He's not interesting enough. Anon doesn't do anything. It's so lame. Like, at least if he was like, maybe I should try to be gay this time, that'd be cute, you know? That'd be like, ah, you know what, I got a second life. I might as well kiss a guy and see if that would work for me. You know, just for fun. And maybe his dad freaks out because his dad is a bit more conservative like that. You know, something exciting. Don't know what to tell you. Fang paused halfway to her seat. Because what else do people do but pause, peer, and smile? And blink, apparently. Plink. I don't have Plink on this recording setup, sorry. God, this song is so goofy. There's somber ambience and somber theme. Let's go boring theme, because I'm bored. I've come this far. I've come so far to lose it all. Anyway, where were we? Reed leaves. Fang is on their phone. Math homework. How could I focus? Fang is here. I want to kiss Fang. I want to smooch Fang. I'm into non-binaries, which technically makes me pansexual, as that one fucking mod pointed out. No one ever addresses this. This never gets pointed out or called out or otherwise given any modicum of attention. I know that Fang is technically Lucy, who is just a girl, but, like, Anna was on board with it. That being said, I do feel that the idea of non-binaries always being androgynous, little weird. And I think Bavaka no High mostly sticks with it because everyone is a brick in that game. Just a chunky brick. What's up? What's that supposed to mean? You want to know what's up? I'll tell you what's down. Gravity and the stock market. But boom! It's a bear market, baby! What the hell did that come from, Fang? Just fucking just lost all steam. She's got a lot of shit on her mind, and she doesn't want to talk about it. Oh, I feel like I've been in your position before. I have crap on my mind. You have no way to unclog. Millions of dinos feel the same way, and she's like, no. How are you not an asshole? They're still trying to find a cure. Poor guy. Can't even be an asshole when he wants to. You're popular, you're smart, you hang on my brother. You also play guitar. You missed the part where he is athletic. He's a Mary Sue. He's boring as all hell, and nothing about him is interesting. He forces himself into situations. Everyone likes him. Anon gets everything handed to him, and no cost is associated with it. That's why he's boring, because he's the antithesis of a plot. He's the antithesis of character development. That's the problem. Like, a Mary Sue character can be fun. Like, that's what Ophinia kind of is, in hindsight and in the greater narrative. But I always treat her, when she's in the Mary Sue mode, as a character that exists in that framework. Where, yes, she's a bit much, but that's part of the fun. That's how she functions. That's how she is in the story. She doesn't get involved in a way where that becomes obnoxious or gets in the way. It's just like a trickster god that floats around a little bit and says some funny stuff and then leaves. And leaves the actual interesting parts to the people that fucking matter. Is that why you've been staring to me? You wanna kiss my guitar? I mean, to be fair, isn't Roxanne, like, pretty cool? Do not call my sister a quippo! I thought you were an ally, Fang. Allyship with Fang ended. Wheelchair is now my ally. I don't know how that works, actually, so sorry. Why was I the way I was? I think, Anon, it's because you have the maturity to suck it up. Goes a long way. Also, you are as boring as cardboard and have wisdom enough to make people somewhat care. But none of it gets used in an interesting way. Somewhat. Some of it does, actually. Not enough to redeem you, but it's there. I like how you point this out, but, like, that's not the only point. Don't forget that you cried, you know? Also, this still doesn't actually explain anything. You can still like other people and be an asshole to everyone else. Like, what you are talking about is greater consciousness. Not class consciousness, but just, like, greater conscious outside of the people you care about. Like, conscious for the stranger. Empathy for all. I like how they were having one conversation. I mean, the whole guitar thing should have tripped this up. This is so weird. Sure it wasn't a fluke. Oh no, we're gonna get a new song, but you know what? We're gonna skip that song. You don't get to see that. Well, that's why it's called Free Burden. Apparently Fang joins it. Thump thump thump. It's the tail. Oh man, it's your tails that come along your two-man band. How cute. I felt like I made a true connection playing guitar. No, you make a true connection when you have sex, and you have that moment where you're both emotionally and physically vulnerable. And you realize that despite that, you still feel safe. You feel something with this other person. The urge to talk, the urge to let it all out. I mean, you already creamed them, but you know what I mean. That's such an Ophinia thing to say. Like, you stumble into the bathroom, and the trickster god sticks her head out of the like, you know, out of the toilet. Or stands in the mirror as only a reflection. And says, man, I know it's real love. How would you know? Well, simple. You know, when you have sex with someone, there's that moment at the end where everything feels so crystal clear and emotionally turmoilless, and it's like, you know, it's that moment where you can when you open your heart and give everything to that person. I mean, other than the cum, because you already had a good old blasting in there. You already basted that turkey. But I'm talking about the part where emotionally you let yourself cut loose. Bukake. Be impressive if you can do a facial when you're inside of someone's blip. Man, who needs a stream or sleepiness when I can just be like this on the regular? I have to go. My planet needs me, says Fang. Anon is like, oh no, but I have detention. Now? Oh man, I love that Fang is completely stumbling. But it was Wednesday, but also I have today detention. Oh no! Dino nuggies. Those are cold, man! Those are just disgusting at this point. You've kept them since lunch. Don't put those in the fucking microwave. This feels so weird, right? Like, the problem I have is this is cartoonish, but a lot of the other stuff feels like it's trying to be emotionally touching in like an actual physical corporeal way. It's so conflicting. And the fucking whiplash of those scenes is what gets me. Like, that works if that's the thing a character does. But Anon feels like he should be beyond this, you know? A bit more emotionally stable, and it shouldn't be played up as much. Or at least build up the Anon moment. Maybe I'm just an angry, salty old man. Campus beautification. Yeah, how are you this fucking stupid? This was specifically called out, you moron! Well, we're making a lot more headway now that I don't give a shit, but man, do I want to burn this feck to the ground. I will never take the opinions of anyone on this website seriously ever again, because, man... I'm not saying my works are that incredible, right? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying this is not as good. I'm going to take a quick break, and I'm probably going to do Chapter 20, because fuck it. I'm speedrunning this bullshit. I'm getting this out of my life. This is an enema, and I'm squirting until that shit comes out clean. And if you felt that was uncomfortable to listen to, imagine how uncomfortable this is to read!